Okay, great. Let's onegaishimasu. Okay, great. We just start just a little bit of loosening here. It's the body into motion. Nice and loose. Start to bring the body out a little bit, coming off the ground. Let the weight settle back into the heel. Nice and heavy. Okay, good. We'll do 3 kind of breathing techniques as you do as we go before we start. So the first one's like this. You're going to go from this position. You raise up onto the toes, bring the arms out, and you clench the fist. And what you do is you get to the top, make everything super tight. So make everything as tight as possible as you go up. The neck, the glutes, the legs, the arms, really nice and deeply in, long through the back, and then you just let it go. Settle everything down to the ground. So do this in your own time. You do a nice deep breath in, really clench at the top, clench everything. The abs, the lats, the glutes, arms, neck. And release it. And then up. Release it. Just try to make everything as tight as possible, and then a big release. In. And out. In. And out. One more time. In. And out. Okay, the next one, keep the feet on the ground. Go up with the arms right to the top. This is the breath in. In, join the hands at the top here, and then just draw them down the center of the body. This is the breath out. Out, keep the palms in contact. So you just get to this point. Let them go down, 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 down. Here, out. Body's coming a little bit forward, and then you take another breath in. So that all the out breath comes out at this point, and then back in this way. Okay, so it starts like this. You go around with the arms, in. Fully together. As you bring the hands together, stop the breath and then draw it down into the center. Breath out. Incline the body a little bit forwards and out. All out and then in. Join at the top, down. Keep the shoulders down, so try not to shrug the shoulders up, keep the shoulders down, down, down. Let everything just release into the ground. Up. Shoulders still weighting down, and then down. Just a couple more, in. And out. In. Okay, the next one goes like this. You breathe the body up, breathe in, and you go across the chest. You hit 3 times. You go 1, 2, 3, and then you tap with the fingertips. You go 1, 2, 3, and then you stretch the arms up. And then from here, just let them release to the front. Goes here, so it's breathing in, stretching across the ribs, and then straight up. And then this one, let the body fully incline forward. You go in, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then up. Just let the body out, let the breath out. A couple more times, in. Okay, last one as you go through, you're going to go to here, out, and then let all the breath out at this point. So really let the body go. About 3 breaths out. You can also press into the diaphragm and really squeeze the breath out. So you want all the breath to go out totally. And then as you come back up, as you feel like it, really take a natural deep breath in and just come back up to standing. So you just do one nice deep one. In. Up. And then let everything out. Bend the body forwards a little bit. Everything's out, and then come back up with a nice deep breath in. Yeah, okay. And then just very lightly, just let the whole body go. A little bit loosening the hips up. Okay, just circling the hips. And both ways. And down to the knees. Either way. And stretching them back. Bending down. And back one more time. Pull the knees up towards the face if you like as well, just to increase the stretch along the front. And down. And back up. Okay, we'll do a little bit of squatting. So the first one, just your natural kind of shoulder width, maybe also a little bit wider. So it depends on where you kind of naturally squat from. The key with this is if you've got any pain in the knee, don't go to that range. So only go to the range where you feel kind of comfortable with it. So the main thing is get the shoulder width kind of posture. With the arms, you can do what you like. You can have the arms in front, you can have them here, you can have them on the head. Just use the key thing is that the spine's going to stay long throughout it. So the main thing is to avoid compressing the upper body as you go. So let the movement come from the hip down, sit into it, and then just go to the range of motion you can and get to about here. You might be able to get a little bit further down and then just come back up. And as you go up, straighten the knees as you come up. So it's a little bit pulling up against the knees. So first kind of hinge, find the back, and then just sit down into it, nice and slow. And drawing back, really with the glutes as you come back up. Sinking down, keeping the spine nice and long. And pushing back up. Hinging down. Do about 6 or 7. Nice, deep, slow. And down. Okay, one more here. And then as you get down to this position, you're just going to slightly pulse it through. So you just pulse from the hips. Let the weight sink into the heel. There. So it shouldn't be painful. If it is, go a little bit higher up. You can also just do this here, in this kind of position. Just let it pulse, 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 and then come back up straight. Okay, and then we're going to go to the classic kind of sumo squat, so a little bit wider, and the feet point out a little bit. So not fully, but just a little bit wider now. So You do the same thing, hinge into the hip, keep the back long, and just sinking down. You can probably get a little bit deeper into the hip. If you need to, use the hands into the ground also, but the key thing again, don't collapse the chest to do it. So it's better doing it more shallow than letting the chest decompress. So again, just sinking down, think the hips in, and then let the hands stay in front of the body, or they can go to here. And back up, really fully straighten the legs up as you come back. So sinking back, most of the weight's in the heel. Sinking down, and coming back up. Sinking down. Really actively pushing the body up with the glutes. Let the glutes really switch on. Man up. And just about 6 or 7. Nice and slow. And up. And then the same thing as you go down on this one. Just slightly pulsing it. Pulse through the hip. That's it. Pulse. Keep the back nice and long. Pulse. Just a few more. And then back up to stand. Okay, and just shake the legs out. A bit here. Okay, and we just do one more, which is a narrow one, so the knees are touching. Here, and you go down the same way. You can also do this on the toes, makes it really difficult. Just keep the knees down. So you probably find the range of motion is a little bit less as you do this. But again, just try and go as far as you can, again, without pain. So sink in the hip, settle down, and then draw up. So quite difficult in this one not to compress the chest. So just keep this feeling again over long length through the spine. Sticking the butt out a little bit more. And up. And again, just nice and slow, 6 or 7. And it's less about getting to a deeper range of motion, more about activating the right muscles and falling into the structure as you go. Just a couple more here. Good, and then one last time, just pulsing through the hips. Let the hips raise up. So it's not so much about the knees, it's about pressure into the ground and letting that motion go into the hip. Down, down. Just a few more. Just raise up, out. Okay, good. And just stretch the legs out a little bit. Get the body just in a lunge position. Just reaching up. You can lace the fingers together or just keep them up like this. And then just going to lean into the front leg. Just let the side of the body open up. And the legs release as much as you can in the back leg. Just stretch the whole body out to the side. Release it. And just go on the other side. Reaching up. Stretching over. As much as you can. Open the side of the body up. Yeah. And then last one, just for the legs again. Just feet shoulder width, feet on parallel lines. Just leaning the body forward. More for opening the back leg out. So who works the knee a little bit. Just think about opening the hip. And then on the other side. Yep, this way. Just playing a little bit, stretching the back ankle out. Good. And then again, on the other side, just let the knee go down to the ground now. Here, down, and then just stretch into the front hip. Open the front hip out. You can have the hands on or not, and you can also reach the hands into the ground if you need to. Keep the back long, chest up. Really stretch into the front hip. Nice and slow, coming back up. And then onto the other side, drop into the knee, draw into the hip. And pulse it a little bit if you like. Good, and then again onto the other side, go all the way down now. Here, let the foot go flat into the back, and then really come forward into the front hip. So bringing the hands forward, right into the front hip. This is really comfortable for you. What you can also do is go into this kind of pigeon stance where you bring the front leg across 90 degrees and stretch into the front hip totally. So you go into this position. If you can get there, go to there. So you just go to this kind of position. And just sit into the hip. Let the weight of the body just sink into the ground. And then nice and slowly coming up and out of it. And go to the other side. You just drop into it, nice and controlled. Let the back foot go flat. Sink into the front hip. And if that's nice and comfortable, just go to this position. And you can also bring the elbows down to the ground if this is okay. Go to here. Okay, great. So just come back into a seated position here. So you're just with the knees up to the chest. Here, you come back and just you're going to rock down the spine. Just up to here, so not as far as the neck. Just by the shoulder blades. Rock back and come back forward. So you've got this coiling, curling in at the spine, and then as you come up, lengthening up through the spine. That. Just do a few here. That. Good. And then the same thing, just open the legs out into a butterfly position. And then do the same. What the extra thing you do now is just rock the body forward a little bit. So you're really opening the hip joint out again. So let the body go back, in, and then let the body sink forward. Again, just let the weight of the body go into it forward. So you go back, into the hip. Back, breathe out as you go down as well. Yeah. Just one more. Yeah. Okay, and then we just go to the classic kind of backwards and kemi work. So using the hands, really bringing the hips into it now, and changing the feet as you go. Nice and slow, and really using now the shoulder and the hip. Keeping a nice line straight through the body. So the direction is straight, even though you're traveling across the spine. Nice and clearly up. Let the hip flex as you come up as well. And just see if you can catch into a rhythm as you go. And it's about 10 more. Nice and calm. Just letting the momentum of the body draw you through. last one. Just let the body sit up there. And nice and slow, just coming back up to standing. Okie dokie, let's see. So take Joe. We'll do a little bit of Joe work. Sure. Let's see. Okie. Great. Okay, we'll just start a little bit of turning motion. So just starting here, nice and supple in the forearm. So training a really strong grip as well. So keeping the little fingers nice and tight. And let the motion really wind into the forearm, all the way through the hand. That's it. Good. And changing. Nice strong grip. And just alternating the grip. Nice and pliable with the hands. And going into a nice tight grip there. There. Trying to see if you can feel a kind of pulse that also goes through the feet as the Joe reaches this point. Feel that it's kind of pulse back, pulse down, dum, 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 dum. Start to feel that you can stop the Joe at any point, dum, or you can let it go. There, 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 there. That's it. Good. And then we're just going to extending the arm out. And now the real difference is, apart from the arm extending out, you're really going to initiate the hip in. So before the hip's totally kind of passive, let the hip now take a slight movement forward. There. It's going to go out, back, out, back, out, back. And put just as much emphasis on the back hip as well. So this one goes forward and this one's drawing it back. This and then back. This and then back. This and then back. And when you come back, draw back to a kind of neutral position. Fire it out, draw it back to neutral. Back, there, there. And as you're doing that, also focusing on the grip. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. There. And then changing to the other side. Neutral with the hip and then send it in. Send it in. Send it in. That's it. And then alternating the hand now. So there, 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 there. You also explore now, because you're kind of rotating through it, your tendency, the tendency is to get a slight more of an arc into it. So you've got a little bit more of a strike through rather than in the basic ones like this. You've got a little bit more of this kind of motion now, just because of the way the Joe's being passed from the hand. So there's a little bit more of a catch into an arcing movement. There, there, there. And just see if you can catch the hip into the motion. Hip, 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 hip. There. And then just back to one hand, so really letting the hip go now. So it's going to do this, this now, this. So really letting the hip flow through. And the hips together form a kind of screwing pattern into the ground. So just watch for the hips getting thrown out. Keep the spine nice and straight. It's going to screw the body into the ground. I'm going to pass a kind of whip-like motion through the arm. Nice and relaxed. Start to pick up the pace if you like, a little bit faster. And then changing to the side. That's it. And changing each time, alternating the hand. And that's super flexible. Letting the hip really carry the motion away. Try and keep the center of the body really the focus. Don't worry so much what's happening on the external. Just try and feel really the core of the body. That's it. Good. And then just moving around the space a little bit, taking some steps, and keeping the balance, hanging the feeling down. Start with nice simple movements, one step at a time. And then as you get into it, start to introduce a little bit of rotation work. So not full rotations, just kind of wedging good angles. Yeah. Take the body back as well, these kind of motions. This kind of motion. Once you feel really comfortable with it, just let the feet be really kind of pliable, so they're going to really just basically walk around, but really by utilizing the hips. Keep it nice and free. All the time the hands are just passing the gel. Again, if you're comfortable with it, just start to pick up the pace a little bit. And then just to free the movement out, just work with this backwards. Oh, don't get yourself in the feet. Keep it close to the body, not too close. Let it go. And if you find yourself using the other rotation, the other angle, just follow it. Just follow it. And try and really feel the focus is the center of your body. Let everything go from that. And you just want to make it as easy as possible. Okay. Good, keep going. Let's see. That's it. Nice, it's very nice. Very nice. Good. Nice, nice, nice. Great. We'll just come into some really basic ski work. So just coming here, thrusting in nice and strong, and then coming back. Nice and strong, coming back. So really clean, basic ski. In and back. In and back. In and back. So really cleanly focused. As you go, give it a try. That's it. Good. Whoosh. That's it. Good. Just focus on this. It's a little bit from the squatting work as well. So you want the feeling as you go into it. You're kind of expanding the feeling, not only forwards here, but also down and out. So have the feeling, it's a little bit like those big yoga balls. If you imagine kind of sitting on one, you've got the pressure is going to be exerted down into the ground and also expanding out as you go. So even though your movement's forward, think about, again, the center of your body and how it's going to relate down to the ground. So you want to feel a kind of expansion out at the end of the ski. So rather than it just being kind of here, left out, let the feeling drain into the ground. So you've got a really clear feeling of this down through the ground. So just think about kind of hitting into the ground. You're going to really sit into the ski. Sit into the ski. Sit into it. And the feeling's going to kind of penetrate down and sink out as well in all directions. That's it. So feel that even though your focus is forward, the body's expanding in all directions as you do it. Yeah, there we go. Nice. That's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good. Whoosh. And just play with both sides as well. So do a few on each side. You might notice a slight difference in the left and the right side. Try and make them as equal in feeling as possible. Whoosh. Nice. Okay, we'll work a little bit from the first KUMIJO. So when you do the attacking roll, you do this. So your first position is here. You thrust into this position. The person's going to come to the side and come with their kaisi ski. So what you do in this, from this position, is you block the ski. So you've got now this motion, thrusting in, and then from the back, rolling over, and then pressing in again for another ski. So this is basically this is basically one attack. We'll just break it down, goes here, 1, 2, and then here, press in, 3, comes to that. This is a 𝒉𝒂𝒂𝒃. It's a little bit high, so it goes 1, 2, 3, goes to that. And it's just on the left side. You can do it both sides, but for the form, it goes 1, 2, 3. Nice and calm as you do it. So. Yes. Yeah, good. Okay, so you're doing two things, but in a way that the priority in this case is also the footwork. So you're making a path with the Joe, but the priority in a way is how you're compressing the feet in. So you've got this position here. Now my aim is to bring the back leg in, to press into the next ski like this. So just focus on a little bit this back leg as you go in. So obviously this motion is linked to the way you're using the back hip, this, but just prioritize a little bit away from that motion and into this feeling of drawing the body in. So that, and then from here, really pressing out of the back leg. So just get used to this kind of compression. We do it kind of statically, in a static way, and then we'll blend it a little bit together, but really relies on getting this compression in place. So the back leg thrusting through. Here, and then that coming out of the ground. So feel that the ski is basically going to come from a compression in the ground. That's really where the power is going to come from. Yeah, there we go. Boom. Nice. 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 Yeah, good. Okay, we'll bring it together, but we'll just miss out the first ski. So you've got the rolling block and then the thrust through. I'm just going to make this now one movement. We're really used to doing this movement going back, 1, 2. But in this case, what you're asked to do is go forward into it. So just feel that you're basically opening, blocking, rolling in. And it's just going to feed the attack. So feel that this is just one motion. So you roll in, press in. Feel that the first moment is really just a preparation. This to come in. So it's nice and sharp. This. And it's not really done in the shoulders. It's something done in the body this way. Just give it a try. Just that. Just that motion. Quite tricky. Yeah. Yeah, so this is to make the footwork a little bit simpler. So when you do this one, keep the front foot where it is, so I can just press into it. That. So you've got this position. That. So this is just to make this transition a little bit easier later. So in this case, don't move the front foot. Keep the front foot down and just coil. Goes in this way. So keep it nice and simple. That's it. So it's just a back foot going in. Yeah. Yeah, there's a bit of a fault when we do this. If we do this motion like this, just watch it. So sometimes you'll see the form done like this, like thrusting in and then rolling back for the block and then coming back in this way. This is really much too slow, and you basically pulled your intention out of the conflict. So you want, in this case, the first attack is abandoned. I go into the block and I go straight into the next attack. So there's no drawback at all. Again, it comes down to intention and what my purpose of the form is. So what you're doing now is you're thrusting in and continuing the attack. So it's one press through the body. So you've got this changes that. So just try this now as one thing. My ski's a little bit high, but you want it a little bit that. It's going that way. So it's just going to the solar plexus. So you now just feel it's one thing. It goes in, around, straight in, with zero pullback at all. So there's no drawback. You're kind of wedging, winding in. Yeah. That's it. That's it. Whoosh. Oh, it'll be hard.
On the second ski, Michael.
Oh, yeah.
Is it that, or is it more of a jab or a?
You've got that. It's still going to be supple in the hand, so there's going to be a little draw through. So if I do really slow, it's like that. So you're going to connect the block at the same time. You're going to draw it through and then thrust it through. But it's very kind of subtle. It's not, but it's not like something like it's not something like that. That would basically be too rigid in a way. So you want something still quite supple. That the front hand in this case is really just following, so it doesn't really lock onto the jaw until that last ski. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Nice. Whoosh. Nice. So it's got some really nice body use. This is the very first kumitachi. So KUMIJO goes here, and then what you do is this pivot, throw on the ground, and then go into this position here. So in this case, you're blocking your 𝒂𝒄𝒿 reply. So you've got this, and then a big opening through to this position, and really settling into the ground into this kind of position, blocking the side of the head. So nice big hip work. You've got 1, 2, and then 3. Really solid in the ground. So really exploring getting the relationship to the ground, nice and wide. This, and then that. Really solid into the ground. That's it. That's it. Good. Whoosh. That's it. Yeah, so it's a mix of a kind of the first priority is obviously to block the head, so to meet your 𝒂𝒂𝒿, so it's not going to hit the head. The other priority is to put yourself in a position where the meeting of the yokomen will basically plant me into the ground. So then I'm basically working the body where I'm receiving the strike into the jo, and then that pressure is what's going to allow me to go to the next movement. So just feel that this is basically a setup. You've got that, and then as you go, really feel that what can happen is if you were to receive something into the front of the jo here, it would channel into the ground. So if I'm in a position like something like this, if the jo is to be struck, it will basically go into these kind of positions. So I want to really have the sense that it's going to channel the strike into the ground. So that's going to press me out and then come into that kind of position this way. So we'll explore just that last movement now. And it comes here, 1, 2, 3, and then from here, what we do in the KUMIJO is press, and then release the ski forward this way. So you're taking the jo off the line. Because here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Moves through. That's really one movement. You go. Back. Nice. Yeah, what we do when we do this in a kind of flowing way, you're obviously going to make contact, strike through and go straight through into the ski. So feel that even though we're breaking it down, feel again the intention behind this is to get to the position, press through the structure and go straight into it. So even if you do it slow, you want to make a really direct movement. So you roll back, press, send it through. So it should be very direct. So it's the hip work which is gonna press the jo out of the way. It's not a body movement, something like this, and then a kind of big movement here with the arms. So just think about, again, it's relating everything back to the core of the body. So think that the core essence of the techniques is always quite small. So something from the hip kind of pressing through. So just look at a little bit more containment coming from the center of the body. Obviously you want it to spread out, you want to extend the feeling out and out into the jo. But it's going to come from something that's very, very, very essentially quite contained in the center. That, and really very essential in terms of center movement. That. It's got something really quite tight about it. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Nice. Nice. Just see this now as a movement in two parts. You've got two movements. You've got the first movement to strike in, and then the second movement you're rolling the body back, blocking and thrusting straight through. So see these as basically two attacks. You've got the first ski, which I abandon and I follow through with this one, and then the next one I've got to roll back to press through this way. So really feel that those two finishes have a kind of sharpness to them. Again, I'm trying to really finish the person that. So I want the form to be finished, and then we continue that. I want the form to be finished. So just have this idea of a little bit more intention to finish the form. That, and then that. And obviously because you're doing solo work, we're doing solo work, you can really press through a little bit more kind of intention than I would with a partner. Yeah. There we go. That's it. That's it. Good. Nice, nice, nice. Whoosh. Good. That's it. Good. Okay, so we'll go to the other side. So if you look at the traditional Aikido series, I think volume 2 looks at the KUMIJO. Volume 1 looks at the 𝒊𝒏𝒈. In volume 2, you'll see the KUMIJO. They go 1 to 7, 1 to 6. Maybe 1 to 6, right? And then you also see some of them are much shorter. So they're shorter forms. So they were originally quite short forms. So in this case, the form was basically just to come here. You wedge off the line, you block, and then you finish. Yeah, so this is a strike to the head. So the form originally finished at this point. It didn't continue along to the next point. So we'll just do the form up to here, and then we'll extend it to the version we've got now. But just for now, you wedge off the line straight in. So that's the first movement. You've got this kaishi ski, the skis coming towards the body, roll off here, and this gets parried off. Then the second ski comes towards the body, you wedge off the line, and then from here you've got a direct line onto the person. So you roll in and strike through to the head. So this is really, you're kind of wedging the body to the left, receive the block, wedge off, and then fire the hips in, striking through this way. And again, really with the intention to finish at every point. Finish, no, finish, there. It's got that kind of quality, just there. That's it. Nice. Yeah, great. And then the form got a little bit extended for whatever reason. Saitenta was playing with the forms, and he got this extra movement coming into it. So now you roll to the side. This movement now gets received. So this gets stopped here at this point. Now you've got really one movement, but we'll do it as two. So the parry comes in this way to push through, and it's going to go right towards the throat with the last ski. So what you're trying to do is really get the body off the line this way. Goes to this position. And then from here, swinging the whole body around and finishing on the side of the head. So we'll just do that just as 2 movements. It goes 1, 2, 3. This gets parried, 4. So you're really drawing the whole body in. So it's here, 4. And then from here, 5. Draw the whole body back. The key is, in this case, is to really protect the elbow, because it's very easy for, in this case, the elbow to get pulled out, and then I'm in this position, and the elbow just gets taken out because it moves where the throat would be. So in this case, get the feeling you're really wedging the whole body off the line. This goes right under it, and then that brings the body back into it. And that's it. It's a really, really tight movement, and you don't have a lot of time to make it. Yeah. Yeah, the main thing you're trying to do, so the KUMIJO especially, they work a little bit on not only like pressuring the person with the attack, but trying to break the structure of the person. So this is one really clear example where you've got this position as the attacker, and you're really trying to break the structure of the person. So we don't really do it when we learn the forms, but when we're training them in a way for the kind of intention of it, you've got the intention really to break the person's structure, and then the thrust is going to kind of come in. So what you need to do in terms of the uke roll is really allow that motion to translate to the ground and let the whole body kind of swing into it. So what I don't want to happen is the jo to go there, and then we have to kind of pull around it this way. This is where the elbow will get caught every time. So get the sense that as that pressure comes here, I'm converting it again into the center. So this comes right in. So just so that that's now one motion, so you're in that position. The pressure comes on, and the center goes out with it. So the whole center goes with it. Just, again, it's really about containing the whole body within the center. That, and then that goes right in. So it's a really, really fine wedge. Again, the whole body needs to kind of do the movement. Yeah, there we go. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Very, very tight. Yeah. Good. Shh. Okay. Good. Yeah, no, that's just imagine again, it's in 2 movements. So you've got a kind of semi-flowing form, and the person basically, the attacker is basically going to stop at this point. That, and then you've got a slight pause, and then that comes through. So just see these now. You see the form in 2 parts. You got here. You're going to go through 1, 2, goes to here, and then from here 3, 4. So it's really practicing a kind of really flexible footwork pattern with a pause in between, just so that you can collect the body. So this, and then here, this. And do this really slow, but it's really about the quality, not the speed. This. This. That's really what you'll find is really about the compression pattern in the feet. Come in. That's yeah. That's it, that's it, that's it. Right. Good. So there was Adrian shared a great video before of Saito Sensei teaching on a seminar doing Maroto Dori, and he does one variation which is really incredible. And he basically gets the person to grab him and twist the arm. I know we've got this variation where he comes in here and then you find the form, but rather than do that in the seminar, he goes right into it this way, and then he coils the whole body into it. He goes right through. So everyone's watching. I have no idea how he does it, but he's basically totally free in his center. You can see. So he's just. You would say he's going the wrong way for the technique, but he just continues with it, and the uke just spirals around it. Really, really beautiful technique. So we've got this kind of, if you're free in the center, you can basically move anywhere. So there's no kind of right or wrong in that sense. So if you get into a position where you get pulled out, you basically just follow it. So in this case, what can happen when you go into this technique is this is really strong. So this movement is really, really powerful. So if the person goes in, the attacker goes in here and really slams through it, then it's almost impossible to contain the movement and try and bring it back around this way. So you don't try to bring it back. You just take it where it is and you move the center. So what the form looks like in that case is something like this. This really gets pulled out. If I can manage to get into the foot, I basically press it through to here, this way. So rather than trying to bring the whole jaw around, I just accept where it is and I slam it through with the body this way. So just try this, the last few. Just imagine you get a really strong block here, which basically draws the body out. So I cannot bring it around. So I just got to set where I am and draw it through this way. So this is one variation where I've a little bit got taken out, or someone's done a really, really powerful block. So it goes here, here, here. It goes that way. You're just trying to bring the whole body out. Give it a try. It's a little bit like that movement in the first Kumitachi, with a little bit more. You're being basically pushed into it. Yeah. That's it. That's it, that's it, that's it. Nice. Yeah, there we go. Boom. Yeah. And this is a really nice one. It's slightly, again, it's a little bit different from the Kumitachi form. In the Kumitachi, you're really looking to kind of make contact here with the sword and go into this position, and then draw the arms up, and then go into this position. In this case, you're really looking for the tip of the jo to kind of glance across the body. So you want something like that going across the body. So you really want the jo to kind of make contact and then drag through the body. If you get this precision, what you can do is also go for the elbow and go for the hand. So you want a precision where I'm basically sliding the tip of the jo across. You've got to imagine it's a little bit like a spear. So you're in this position, this, and then it's got this kind of quality. So there's a real kind of not only impacting like this, but following through with this. So it's a little bit, not quite a slice, but I'm basically using that sharp edge of the jo to basically make contact and slide through. This will actually act as a sharp edge through the jo. So just the last you just imagine it's a little bit, it's got a kind of sharpness to it. Yeah, so it's really kind of swiping through as you go with it. And that same motion you can use for the wrist as well, or for the elbow, to take the elbow out as you go through. The person comes in. And in a kind of feeling connection thing, you're looking to translate your feeling down right to the tip of the jo. If it's like the fingertip, boom, through, boom, through. It's like a kind of blade of a scalpel or something. It's very sharp. Goes through. Yeah. That's it. That's it. Yeah, great. That's it. Yeah. Wow. Good. Nice. Great. Great. Okay, great. We'll stop there. So that's the first KUMIJO with a one variation. There's also lots of variations you've got, especially in the KUMIJO where we change the attacking role. So there's tons of kind of options with these. And where the KUMIJO are a little bit different from the KUMITAICHI is that Saito Sensei said that obviously the 10 KUMIJO were invented by Saito Sensei, or they were really systematized by Saito. Not only systematized Sensei, invented by Saito Sensei from the work he was doing with O-Sensei, but O-Sensei really, the 5 KUMITAICHI really come from O-Sensei directly, so Saito Sensei systematized those. But he said with the KUMIJO, they're really open to be played with. So they will also see them really evolved through from the 70s and the 80s, and still being kind of played with by other people as well now. So they're kind of open to be played with a little bit. Okay, so with that. Hi, domo, arigatou gozaimasu.
Domo, arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you.
Good. Every